So good morning to one and all. Today we have discussed the deflection in precipitous concrete section. Now deflection in precipitous concrete beam, there are certain factors which affect the behavior of the beam from the deflection point of view. First is the imposed load, that is the live load, and the self load of the beam. Second is the magnitude of precipitating force. Third is the cable profile. If cable is eccentric, then definitely we can improve the deflection. Moment of inertia, that is the value of I. Modulus of elasticity, it depends on the material. In RCC, definitely modulus of elasticity is same. Shrinkage, creep, and relaxation of trace in steel. Span of the member, if the span increases, definitely deflection is also increases in the span to the power 4. And the support condition, that is the fixity. Simply supported beam is there, fixed beam is there, or continuous beam is there, and these are the various factors which influence the deflection in the precipitous concrete beam. Now, as we know that in the structural analysis 1, we have discussed the various methods to find out the deflection as well as to find out the moment, or we can say that the moment area method, or slope is equal to, or deflection is equal to, we have used the M by EI diagram between A and B, and the slope of M by EI diagram between A and B, like that. So using this same concept, we can find out the deflection due to the precipitating force. Here alpha P is denoted by the deflection due to the precipitating force, and here we can show that instead of the concentric cable, we have considered the eccentric, but it is straight. If the cable profile is straight, E is the eccentricity with reference to the centroid or center of the section, and this alpha P is equal to negative minus, because it try to deflect the beam in upward direction. That's why it is treated as a negative, and due to the external load, the beam deflect in the downward direction, which is treated as a positive. So in this case, we have considered this is minus. So alpha P is equal to minus precipitating force P multiplied by E, that is the moment due to precipitating force, into L square, square of the span, divided by 8 EI. This is the deflection due to the precipitating force, which is negative, that is in the upward direction. Now second case, we have, there is a inclined tendon, that means the say point load is there at the center, and as per the load balancing concept, we can provide the cable profile triangular. In that case, the alpha P is equal to minus 5 PE L square divided by 48 EI. And if the cable profile is triangular but with the eccentric anchorage, that means the eccentricity is also there at the support. Here eccentricity is 0 at the support, here eccentricity is there at the support as well as at the midspan. In that case, we can find out alpha P is equal to minus PL square divided by 24 EI. Here 5 P is there, here 1. 24 EI multiplied by 2 E1 plus E2. E1 is the sag, or we can say that the eccentricity at the center, and E2 is the eccentricity at the midspan. Case number 4, we have considered the trapezoidal. Sometimes the 2-point load is there, we have neglected the self weight. In that case, to balance the external vertical loads, we can provide the cable profile trapezoidal. In that case, alpha P is equal to minus P into E into 2P L1 square. L1 is the distance from the support up to the point load, plus 6 L1 into L2. L2 is the another distance from the center of the span up to the support, that is the middle one, plus 3 L2 square divided by 6 EI. If the cable profile is parabolic, if the load is UDL, generally we have preferred the parabolic tendon. In that case, deflection due to the precipitating force is equal to minus 5 PE L square divided by 48 EI. It is similar to the point load. See the previous slide. triangular load minus 5 PEL square divided by 48 EI, and in circular also it is 5 PEL square divided by 48 EI, because we have considered the maximum deflection occur at the center. If the cable profile is parabolic but eccentricity is there at the support as well as at the center midspan, in that case alpha b is equal to PL square divided by 48 EI into minus 5 P into minus 5 E1, that is the eccentricity at the center, plus E2, that is eccentricity at the support. And the last case, combination of parabolic and straight tendon. In that case alpha p is equal to minus P E1 plus E2 divided by 12 EI in bracket 5 L1 square plus 12 L1 into L2 plus 6 L2 square plus P E2 L square divided by 8 EI. This is the deflection due to the pre-stressing force, but the cable profile is partly parabolic and then straight, again parabolic, like that. This is the deflection due to the pre-stressing force. Now similarly we can find out the deflection due to the self-weight, that is the dead load and the live load. In that case, due to dead load is UDL, and this is the standard case. If the beam is subjected to UDL, we can say that 5W instead of W, we can say that WD due to the dead load. WD L to the power 4 divided by 384 EI. And similarly for the live load, instead of WD, I have replaced this WD by WL, and the same thing. This is due to the external load or superimposed load. And when there is a point load instead of UDL, in that case WL, that is the due to live load, here L cube divided by 48 EI. This is the deflection due to the dead load and the live load. This deflection will be downward, which is treated as positive, and deflection due to pre-stressing we have considered as a negative, because it is upward. Now we have considered the few examples to find out the deflection. Now in the deflection, important thing is that the deflection is of two types in case of pre-stressing member. First is the short-term deflection and second is the long-term deflection. In short-term deflection, it is also called as the instantaneous deflection just after pre-stressing or just after initial losses. And second, long-term deflection, that is after considering the shrinkage, creep and the relaxation in the stress in the steel. We have considered the long-term deflection. That will be discussed in the next lecture. Now we have taken one example. A concrete beam with rectangular cross section 300 mm by 500 mm is pre-stressed by two cables of area 600 mm square each, initially traced to 1600 MPa. That is FP is equal to 1600 MPa. The cables are located at a constant eccentricity of 100 mm throughout the length of the beam. That means the cable is straight with eccentricity at the support and at midspan is constant 100 mm. The length of beam having a span of 10 meter. Take ES is equal to modulus of elasticity of steel is equal to 210 GPa, and EC modulus of elasticity of concrete is 38 GPa. Now find the number 1. Deflection at the center of the span when it is supported its own weight, that means neglect the all losses and the live load. Second, final deflection at the center of the span when it carries an imposed load of 18 kN per meter, supported its own weight, neglect all losses, allowing 20% losses in the pre-stress. Now dead load is equal to, we have considered 0.300 into 0.500, that is the cross section multiplied by density of plain concrete 24, so it is 3.6 kN per meter. Initial pre-stressing force is equal to 2 cables are there and area of each cable is 600, and every cable traced to 1600 MPa. So trace multiplied by area, that gives the pre-stressing force. It is 1920 kN. Moment of inertia, again rectangular section is there, that's why BD cube divided by 12. So we get the 3.125 10 to the power 9 mm to the power 4 is the moment of inertia. Now the deflection due to self-weight, this is the standard case. Positive 5 WD L to the power 4 divided by 384 EI. So alpha D is equal to plus 3.947 mm. Deflection due to dead load or self-weight. Similarly, deflection due to the superimposed load, live load, 18 kilonewton is already given. That's why again we use the same formula. Eliminate WD by WL. 5 WL into L to the power 4 divided by 384 EI. We get plus 19.73 because the direction is downward, positive. Now, deflection due to the initial pre-stressing force without considering the losses. Here we have considered the initial force P multiplied by E L square divided by 8 EI. This is the standard formula. So 2 into 600, that is the area, multiplied by 1600 into eccentricity is 100, which is constant, and L is equal to 10 meter. So we have converted it into mm. E is related with the modulus of velocity of concrete. That's why it is 838 into I, that is BD cube by 12. It is 3.125 10 to the power 9. So alpha P is equal to minus 20.21 because the direction of the deflection is upward. Now the net deflection of the beam when it supports its own weight, we have considered the alpha D, that is the deflection due to dead load, minus alpha P, that is the deflection due to the pre-stressing force. It is minus 16.2. That means the deflection is upward. Now second, net deflection of the beam when it supports its dead load and the live load. In that case, alpha D plus alpha L, that is the deflection due to dead load plus deflection due to live load, minus neta multiplied by alpha P. Neta is the percentage of loss. 20% loss is there. That's why neta is equal to 0.80. That is the efficiency. So 3.95 plus 19.73 minus 0.8 multiplied by 20.21. So we get the minus 7.51. Due to the application of superimposed load, the deflection is again answer minus indicate the upward, that is 7.51. Now this is the problem which we solve for the short term deflection. Now in the next lecture we have discussed the long term deflection. Thank you very much.